So I just thought I'd do a bit of a video for this JLM DPF cleaning solution. I've also been using the PowerTech stuff that was I think from Euro Car Parts or GSF or something like that, for a 2009 Volkswagen Passat CC. No end of problems with this car over the last few months. Intake manifold, flat position sensor fault came up, so I had all the intake manifold off the car, changed all the cleaned it all out, basically really badly carbon coked up. On taking all this out, basically found the flap for the EGR valve cooler, which is down there. Basically the flap for it was up here, so basically the EGR valve was constantly running. It was blocking the valve in here, stopping the valve opening, causing all this. This was all basically all coked up. The whole car was a right mess. So I had all that off, cleaned all that out with parts degreaser and everything else, and then in doing that I had temperature sensor fault came up, sensor 1, bank 1, probably most common for these Volkswagens. Went down to Volkswagen, spoke to the dealership. They gave me a new sensor. The sensor that they gave me was that one that you can just see down there, which isn't sensor 1 bank 1. Sensor 1 bank 1 is at the back, right at the back of the turbo down here. So that was another fault that came up. So having cleaned all this out, changed the sensor, the car was still in basically limp mode with the DPF fault lights. The coil light and the DPF light were both on the car. So after trying numerous times to clean the car through with the PowerTech, which comes with this nice handy long bit of pipe, and then you go in through the larger pipe there, which is the top of the DPF basically. You go in through the top of that. The problem with that is when you get down here, you've only got a little bit of rubber before it goes into the metal part of the DPF, and as much as you want to try, this pipe will not go all the way down that metal, because it goes down there and it snakes all the way around, comes all the way back in and goes in the DPF somewhere down here. And like I say, for as much as you want to try, it will not work. So in the end, after several cans of the PowerTech and unsuccessful force regens and everything, that the DPF really was truly blocked solid, I went online, looked up a few videos on the JLM product, thought right, I'll buy some of that JLM stuff. $44.99 from a company in Birmingham, off eBay. Can't fault it. I ordered it literally the day after. 2 days later it arrived. Really fast delivery, just cannot fault it one bit. But the kit for this is, I think, nearly like 200 quid for the whole kit, which gives you the spray canister and everything else. So if you're a bit of a tight ass like me, and after, you know, all these cars cost a lot of money, basically I adapted normal garden pressurized hand sprayer. So just a simple Jubilee clip, bit of black pipe, warmed it up, spread it over the top, left the end. Now the end of this other pipe that I used, you just stick that through the end of there, push it all the way in, and then with these hoses that you get for the, I don't know if you can see in the video, it's not going to pick it up, but there's some small holes in the end, it's like three jets. So I wanted that end so that I could do the job basically. But ultimately what I did is, because I've changed one of the sensors, I had an old sensor that I managed to cut and take the nut, which is obviously hollow through the centre, put a bit of rubber pipe and then pass that tube in through to give myself a bit of a tail. You can just see on the right on the very end there is the little nipple, but pass that all the way through, and then I went, in order to do the job and get it more efficient, I took the sensor out down there, which is pre-DPF sensor, can't remember the colour of the plug now for that one. It's the brown plug, basically the brown plug that's up here. So I took that out, screwed this in with the pipe, probably about 4 inches of pipe sticking out the end. Screwed that all the way in, tightened it up, and then did step 1 of 2 of the JLM. Read the instructions, obviously cover all the safety advice, etc. But step 1 of that, pumped it in using my trusty garden sprayer. Keep the pressure going on the sprayer, because obviously you need to get it in there, and then ran the car with this still in, hence why it's, to be funny, a little bit melted, but pumped that all through as per the instructions, left the car running for a little while, and to be fair, yeah, the shit that comes out the back of these, it is unbelievable. The foam and all the muck and all that came out, the smoke and everything that was coming out of it. I do have another video, I will try and put that on, but trust me, the stuff that you see coming out of it was unbelievable. And then once I'd done all that and run the car as per the instructions, left the car running, and then moved on to step 2, and then basically fired step through. Got my daughter to sit in the car for me, hold it at 2,500 RPM, and yeah, pumped a load more of step 2 through. And halfway through the process, my DPF warning light went off, engine management light was off, and the coil light and everything went off. And there's a noticeable, the car, you could just hear it breathe, noticeable difference. Finished all the whole process, dropped the car down, put it all back together, put the sensor and everything back in, and took it for a spin. Instantly, straight out of limp mode, no issues there whatsoever. Took it up the motorway, plugged the VAGCOM in, and did a force regen. Took a bit of a while, took time, but went up the motorway, like I say, come off at the roundabout, and then did another, reset all my differential pressures through the differential pressure sensor, reset all my values and everything else, and started another gen and started the journey back home. And then once I got home, and the car's been running sweet as a nut ever since. So yeah, after a few things with intake manifold, I did put a new second-hand EGR valve cooler on. I found a second-hand one off eBay for 55 quid, and a quick drive down to pick it up. But basically, here's the remains of the old shit. Yeah, you can just see, hopefully in there should be a flap, and that is basically what has snapped off, and what was in the end of that flap there, was in the end of that pipe there, which is the pipe that comes up from the EGR valve cooler. So yeah, 55 quid later, absolute bargain off eBay. I think these are 300 and something quid if you go to Volkswagen or whatever, robbing gits. But yeah, trust people on eBay, and you can get some good stuff. So anyway, that's basically my review on the JLM. It's absolutely brilliant stuff. The PowerTech, unfortunately, it didn't work for me. But I think that's more to the point of not being able to get all the way down to the DPF through the differential pressure pipe, and having to, ultimately I couldn't do what I wanted to do by going in through the manifold side of it, through the sensor side of it. So yeah, trusty old spray bottle, a bit of good JLM stuff, and a bit of thought, and you can do it. You know, I think I already had this kicking around, so 45 quid, job done really. Yeah,